Between 1968 and 1985, 16 people were brutally murdered in the hills surrounding Florence, Italy. They were always couples, always alone in a car or a tent, always killed with the same weapon, a .22 caliber Beretta pistol. Some of the victims were mutilated in disturbing ways. To this day, the killer has never been definitively identified. He is known only as the Monster of Florence. In this episode, we're not talking about the suspects or the police investigations. This story is about the killings. What happened, when, and to whom. The first murders happened on August 21, 1968, in a place called Signa. Barbara Locci and her lover Antonio Lobianco were found shot to death in their car. In the back seat was Barbara's 6-year-old son, who had been sleeping. According to the boy, a man with a beard picked him up, carried him away from the car, and left him at the door of a nearby house. Barbara's husband, Stefano Mele, was arrested and convicted. Case closed, or so it seemed. 6 years later, on September 14, 1974, two teenagers, Pasquale Gentilcore and Stefania Pettini, were murdered in a parked car. They were both shot, but this time the girl's body was removed from the vehicle, mutilated and violated with a vine branch. Forensic analysis confirmed that the same gun used in the 1968 murders had been used again. But Mele was still in prison. Someone else had the weapon. Someone else had killed them. Then the pattern became impossible to ignore. On June 6, 1981, Giovanni Foggi and Carmela Dinuccio were murdered near Scandicci. Carmela's body was found mutilated outside the car. On October 22nd of the same year, another couple, Stefano Baldi and Susanna Cambi, were found dead in Calenzano. Susanna, too, had been mutilated. These killings weren't random. They followed a method, a signature, and the killer always disappeared without a trace. On June 19, 1982, in Monte Spertoli, Paolo Mainardi and Antonella Migliorini were attacked in their car. Paolo survived for a few hours before dying in the hospital, but he wasn't able to identify the killer. Again, no fingerprints, no witnesses, no leads. The next victims were foreign tourists. On September 9, 1983, two German men, Uwe Jens Rusch and Wilhelm Friedrich Meyer, were killed while sleeping in their camper van in the countryside near Giogali. Uwe had long blonde hair, and some believe the killer mistook him for a woman. Others think the message was clear. Anyone could be a target. On July 29, 1984, Pia Rontini and Claudio Stefanacci were murdered inside their Fiat Panda in Vicchio. Pia's body was mutilated in the same horrific way. The monster wasn't just killing, he was following a ritual, a cruel, methodical sequence. Finally, on September 8, 1985, the monster struck for the last known time. Two French tourists, Nadine Morio and Jean-Michel Crevet-Vili, were camping in a tent near Scopeti. They were attacked during the night. Nadine was mutilated with surgical precision. A local witness later reported seeing a man camping nearby for several days. The monster had likely been watching them, waiting. 16 victims, 8 double murders, 17 years of silence and fear. Always the same gun, always the same cruelty, and never a clear suspect. It's now 2025. 40 years have passed since the last known murder. And still, the identity of the Monster of Florence remains unknown. Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe he never acted alone. But whoever he was, he left behind more than just crime scenes. He left behind fear, trauma, and a mystery that still haunts Italy to this day. If you want to explore who might be behind these killings, stay tuned for the next episode. Who was the Monster of Florence? Subscribe and follow, because this story isn't over.